What's up, you flarkin' idiots? Sorry, I'm just calling you out if you haven't picked up the Guardians of the Galaxy game, because that's what we are talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
And we are so excited. I have my good friend Austin joining us over here because Leo and Christian still have not beaten the game. So I was like, hey,
How?
Austin's done. So why doesn't he come join me for the review of Guardians of the Galaxy? This is the brand new game from Eidos Montreal, Square
Yeah, I think that's
Enix,
how you pronounce
and
it.
the last game they all made was the Avengers, which let's not sadly talk about that one. Even though I can defend aspects of that game, overall it was not a good experience. But thankfully, Guardians of the Galaxy is, and we are here to tell you why it is absolutely worth your money. There's a lot of Black Friday deals going on, probably even Cyber Monday. This review should be up during that time, so definitely go check it out. We're going to talk non-spoilers for a majority of this review, and when we get to the spoiler talk, it'll be at the end of this video, but it's going to be fun, guys. So with all that said, let's dive in to the review.
Let's Flarkin do it.
Guys, welcome to Critics Play Games. My name is Zach. I'm one of your main hosts over here, and today I have Austin Putnam joining me over here. He's a movie critic as well. Austin, how you doing today?
Bit exhausted, not gonna lie. I
Yeah.
have been editing and I'm just ready also for Thanksgiving, even though we're recording this on Thanksgiving. This is afterwards, so everyone listening, happy Thanksgiving or happy late Thanksgiving, whatever, whichever. But I am so excited. And by the way, thank you for inviting me. I didn't expect that. Like I was binging Guardians when you sent me the message. I was like, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. Let's play this thing.
Absolutely, man. I
Yeah.
mean, here's the thing. Like, I picked this game up first day, not knowing what I was going to get from it. Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favorite comics ever.
Mm,
It's my favorite MCU movie. Still is the first one. I love these
really?
characters. I love this world. And that gameplay, I really liked the first trailer that they showed at E3.
Same.
I was heavily impressed. Some of it looked a bit off, and then they announced you're only going to be able to play as Star-Lord, and I was like, oh, that makes me a little bit sad.
Yeah.
But I gotta say that was the best decision they could have absolutely made in this entire game. I can't imagine them making any other choice because I think it does work in that vein. If they do a sequel, which I really hope they do, they'll
Mhm.
open it up to co-op and stuff. But I think this more personal story on Star-Lord actually made me emotional. I love this
Same.
version of Star-Lord. And dude, my favorite thing about the game is how it is a mix of Kingdom Hearts combat,
Hmm.
adding in that Mass Effect feeling of the decisions and the choices and the character aspects with a vibe of Uncharted. Like that is what this game very much is. And I loved it. I loved it, and I'm ready to declare it right now. At least for me personally, take away all the bugs and glitches that we will talk about,
Mhm.
it is my third favorite video game comic book game ever made. My third favorite.
Wow.
The second I beat it, I started it right back up. I had
Oh,
so
holy
much fun with
crap.
it, the biggest smile on my face. What about for you, man? What was like your first impressions with this game? Did you have that same reaction going in? How did you feel?
Yeah, I remember when I first saw that trailer, I thought this could be. The strange thing is, this we're having the same thing happening with the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Everyone was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Looks like it could be cool, and look how it came out. Everybody has loved it, and well, it's not my favorite MCU film. It's definitely my top four. I mean, I love the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Two, I don't love as much. I do appreciate it more on viewings.
For sure.
But with the game, I was like, okay, this could be really cool. I actually rented it from GameFly because
Okay.
I have to unfortunately be a little bit, but since Black Friday, I actually might buy it on my PS5, even though I played it on the Xbox
30
Series
bucks, man.
X.
30
Yeah, there
bucks.
you go. $30 I saw. And I was like, okay, you know what? It's either this, Metroid Dread, or Far Cry 6, even though I have been playing Metroid Dread. Fantastic game as well.
Yeah,
But
I loved it.
oh, Metroid Dread's awesome. But I was like, you know what? Let's try Guardians of the Galaxy. I was originally going to play it on PS5. I was like, you know what? It's getting better reviews on the Series X. Sure, let's do it. And within the first couple of hours, I just went, this is very interesting. Okay. Star-Lord. Okay. The combat. Okay. But the more I started playing it, the more I was like, this game is really, really good. Like it's surprised me at every single turn, especially like you mentioned. The story was way more emotional than I expected. Way more emotional. And there was a part where
Yeah.
I actually teared up.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
I tear it up, dude. There's a specific point involving Meredith Quill, which I won't say any more than that. But there is a specific point I just went, whoa, holy crap. They actually did it.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I hope you can still hear me. It looks like my
Yes.
camera's gone out.
Yeah,
Or done
your
some weird.
video is not so much by your camera. Sorry,
That's
but your
that's
audio, yeah.
that's amazing. Let's see. Okay,
Stupid
there we
technical
go.
difficulties, man.
Yep, stupid technical difficulties. But yeah, man, I agree. I know exactly the moment you're talking about, and we'll talk about it during the spoiler
Mhm.
discussion part of this whole podcast. But man, let's jump into the story because this is the part that I
Mhm.
was actually the most surprised by. Was you mentioned some of the aspects that get you emotional.
Mhm.
First off, the music. Oh,
Oh, dude, the soundtrack
perfection.
is awesome.
Even that whole Star-Lord band that they added in them themselves, like the fact that they went and actually designed that whole entire thing, it was badass, dude. And one of my favorite, I don't want to talk about it yet. I want to save it for gameplay because there's
Yeah.
one thing in the gameplay that fucking would hype me up each time, and I love it. But the story is so good, and it's hard to not talk spoilers because from the trailers they hid a lot of characters, they hit a lot
Mhm.
of story development, they hit a lot. So we're not going to talk too much about the story, but overall, just impressions of it.
Yeah.
Loved it. I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
they really get these characters right. And I think that's where we can really segue is that each character I loved. There's not a
Mhm.
weak character in here. Rocket has his emotional points, Gamora, Star Lord, Drax, Groot. And I like it because you don't get their like super ability until they go through a personal development or moment. And I
Yes.
love that because then you kind of get to really feel for them. And I felt for all these characters, even if the designs were different than what I was expecting from a Guardians of the Galaxy, because we're so used to certain things within the comics and given you can change the outfits and stuff. But I
Mhm.
love that. I love how
Yeah.
they changed the guns and how they what they can do, and again, all the abilities that these characters have. There's so much fun. Like I loved pairing like Groot's like thing where he would capture them with the vines,
Mhm.
and then throw rockets, grenades in, and then just have Drax and Gamora slice through them all. It was
Yes.
badass to combine all those, and there does come to be a strategic component to all that because
Mhm.
if you don't use the characters right in commanding them, Star Lord can die
Oh,
very
yeah.
fast.
Very quick.
I mean, I like it would be like maybe a 5-3 hit kill sometimes, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm dead. It's time to restart this. But it's fun in that aspect. But my favorite aspect of all those characters was them bantering with one another during
Oh,
combat, during sequences on
man.
the ship when they're sitting there and you go around talking to each of them. Their banter, I would die laughing at
Same.
almost every aspect of it all. So, Austin, what do you think about the story, and who is your favorite character in the game?
Story definitely took not too long for me to get into, but I was like, okay, I'm slowly easing myself into it. It was probably around, I would say, okay, there's a specific part of the game where I was like, this is going into a different direction. And also, this and involves Rocket and Groot.
Yeah,
And it's when they go to nowhere. That's all I'm going to say in terms of that for
yeah,
the time being.
very
And I was
changes
like,
up the story.
yes, I was really interested in it. I was definitely invested. I was invested with the stuff with Star Lord, and then there's a moment involving Rocket and Groot, and I just went, "Oh, this went somewhere different." And as soon as it happened, I couldn't stop playing this game. I couldn't put it down.
Yep,
My favorite character was actually Rocket again, just like in the movies.
yep.
I like. Here's the thing. Obviously these characters are not voiced by the actors from the MCU. Rocket's not voiced by Bradley Cooper, but the guy they did get to voice Rocket did a phenomenal job.
Oh
I
yeah.
loved Rocket in this. I
Hmm.
almost said movie in this game,
Yeah,
and
it feels like a movie though. It's so cinematic at
oh
times.
yeah. The strange thing is, at first, like Star Lord was kind of. I didn't love Star Lord at first. I mean, I was. It took me a bit. Star Lord took a bit to
Once
grow
you
on
get
me.
into his past, I think that's when it
Yes.
really opens up. And dude, I think my favorite thing about it is this game feels like a fucking party. Every
Oh,
party
it
has drama,
does.
every party has great characters, every
Mm-hmm.
party has great humor, and every party has great music. And that's exactly this game just feels like a fucking rockin' party. And
Yes.
you mentioned your favorite was Rocket, and Rocket,
Mhm.
I mean, has always been one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But I want to give a shout out to fucking Gamora.
Gamora was
Holy shit.
great.
And her background's a little bit harder to talk about because there's a couple things that obviously we know from the comics that little bit of spoiler, so again, can't really talk much about that till
Yeah.
we get to that part. But
Dude, really quick before I
surprise,
continue on,
yeah,
there was a part, it was it's in chapter I think 14. There's a thing that she said and I just went, "You gotta be kidding me."
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I
Yeah,
know
right?
exactly what you're talking about. But and those are the things that surprised me the most. Drax, though, there's a whole point where something happens to him, and they have to use Mantis to get something out of him,
Oh,
and Mantis
dude.
fantastic as
I
well. I loved how they
loved
used it.
Mantis.
And I know from the trailer some people saw Cosmo the space dog. When Cosmo is in it, it is fantastic. I thought they used him greatly. And there's another character that I never saw in any of the trailers, so I don't want to talk about it, but
Yeah.
she's awesome. She's awesome, and she's arguably the emotional crux of the entire story besides Star-Lord.
I know exactly who you're talking about, and I just went, "Whoa, okay." This is it's what you guys know. This is not the movie. This is completely different. I mean, they do
Yeah.
keep some things from the
But
movie in the
this is a
game.
heavy comic-y game.
Yes, very much
Like
so.
like I was surprised some of the deep cuts they went to, and I'm like, holy shit. Like the character I'm actually speaking about is a very deep cut, which again
Yeah,
we'll talk about. And I kind of want to get a little bit more into the gameplay right now. And I
yeah,
think, dude, for me, the gameplay, like I mentioned, like I really like the Kingdom Hearts aspect of choosing this,
yeah.
make this character do this, and then jump in and fight them too, and use this and this, and combine all the abilities. Austin, my favorite fucking part was when your meter went
Yeah.
all the way up and you could huddle up.
Oh
And it
my
was, dude,
god.
I got goosebumps every time. And I love how Star Lord wasn't bumbling or anything like that. Like, he was like,
Yeah.
what are you guys doing? Like, why are we fighting each other? Let's
Mhm.
go out there and kick some ass. And just hearing like Drax go, yes, you're right. Or Gamora,
Yes.
and them actually feel, and the more and more you go throughout the story, the more and more they actually start to less argue. They actually feel
Yeah.
like a family, especially during these huddles. And then the second he clicks the music on, and you just
Oh
go
my
full
god.
fucking out. What did you think about that the first time that you huddled up? Because the first time I
Oh,
did it, I got
man.
goosebumps to the very last time I did it.
Dude, the first time I did the huddle, I was like, "What is this mechanic?" And actually, you know what the strange the first time I did that thing, I actually had to restart the game. I didn't restart the game, but I had to load my last checkpoint. I was like, "What the Oh, god dang it." So I did it again, and I was like, "Okay." And I just went, "Oh, it's time to kick some ass." Oh, by the way, I just want to ask you, what
Yeah.
was the first song that they played when you did the huddle thing?
Oh man, I can't remember. What was yours?
I
There's so many
think
songs.
I can't remember either, but I know it was, oh my god, it was it a was it Bad Reputation? I think it
It
was Bad
might have been. I
Reputation.
think it's I think they're synced to I think that very first one has to be Bad Reputation, I think. But
Mhm.
isn't can't Kickstart Your Heart on there too? I know I got that a
Dude,
couple times.
I wanted to play that song. It was only played during one part. I was like, "You know what? Okay." Because Kickstarter is one of my favorite Motley Crue songs, so I was wanting it to be
Same.
played during the final battle sequence, and I didn't realize that it's a random thing, but still, I when they played when what the final song that I got was actually the final countdown.
Yeah, dude. I got that too. What was
Yeah.
I got one though. Sometimes I had to get slower songs, and I'm like, this is
Mhm.
still freaking badass. Like,
Yeah.
I just love those moments so much. I hope if they do a sequel to not get rid of that. I think it was so important, and it
Same.
added so much story. And every time, I think there was only once or twice that I got the same dialogue in that moment. But
Yeah.
besides that, it was always different. It was always fun, and it really made you feel like Star Lord. And I
I
think that's the whole
agree.
point of this game, man. It makes you feel like Star-Lord.
Yeah, I mean,
And
the team did say that they tailored the game more towards story because that's the one that they felt the most, and I agree with you, by the way.
mhm,
I actually didn't even get the Kingdom Hearts thing until you mentioned it. It was definitely Kingdom Hearts. It felt a lot like Mass Effect,
mhm.
and in a small way, because of the whole sandwich system, I got a small Devil May Cry vibe with the way how they're
Yeah,
doing
yeah, no, I agree with you.
uncanny. Yeah,
Another one I would say is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I mean, it's
yes,
literally point blank the same thing, and I hope they don't change anything of that. I think
same.
if we're talking about things I would have liked to see a little bit more from the gameplay, I definitely unlocked everything fairly fast.
Mm.
Probably about midway point through the game, besides some of the things that were unlocked by story, and I'm like, I wish they would have added a little bit more to the RPG element
Yeah, same.
because there's not enough abilities. And once you unlock them, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I want
Yeah,
more though. And that's just my selfish aspect of saying because it's about a 20-hour game. So when you beat it halfway
yeah,
through, you're really just playing for the story at that point.
yeah.
Um And I almost have all the trophies too. I think I'm only missing a couple, but it just comes down to there's a couple things that I think for gameplay wise to really add and further. It's just the
Yes.
selfish me that you could have added a couple more abilities. And I am glad they stuck with this core team. I'm curious to see
Hmm.
if like in a future game, if they're like, hey, we're gonna add 2 more members, but now you have to choose who goes with you.
Yeah. Oh, like a Mass Effect.
Yes. And I don't know how I fully feel about that because it's tough to already choose. And I'm
Yeah.
already
Right.
but, like, depending on who they add, I'm like, well, fuck, I'm like, okay, well, you have Mantis that you could potentially add. You could even add Cosmo, Nova,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they could bring him in. I don't know, but they could do a lot of that. But I really dug the gameplay overall. I never really
Same.
ran into any glitches. Enemy types, I actually thought were pretty varied and actually kept up
Yeah.
the fight a lot. And I was surprised on that because some of them would kick your ass fairly fast, and
Oh
some were
my god,
cannon fodder, but I
dude.
actually dug them all.
There was one enemy type. I think it was
Was it the
the
shield ones?
not just the shield ones. Oh my god, the shield ones pissed me off so much. Dude,
Yeah.
we were trying to fire Star-Lord's the ice element at them and they just keep
Oh,
blocking you.
yeah,
Or the
yeah,
healers. The healers, oh my, I was like, would you guys stop it? And there's a specific point into which I thought I was fucked. Thank God for the huddle mechanic, otherwise I would have been screwed entirely.
yep, no, I
Yeah.
agree with you, man, but I liked all the enemy types. The
Same.
bosses I thought were all fun too. I thought
Same,
each of
yeah.
them were fun. I will say most of them pretty much died in the exact same way, but honestly, when it comes
Yeah.
down to superhero bosses, I've never played a game where it wasn't like that. Like Spider-Man was like that, and that's my favorite
Mhm.
comic book game of all time. All the Arkham games, I argue, besides Arkham City, pretty much have the same vibe, but even Arkham City sometimes runs into that mess. So it's tough to vary up and do different
Yeah.
things. So, all right, next thing, man, graphics and performance. I want to discuss.
Oh god.
This game's stellar and stunning
Oh,
at
it
times.
is. And I did want to mention one particular thing. So there is a reviewer out there who I love with all my heart. He reviews video games. You may know who this is. He's one of the like bigger gamer YouTubers out there. And there one of his buddies did a rapid fire review of it. And he was saying the game looked okay. I was like, did we play the same game?
Yeah,
Because dude, there were so many parts because like I
I
mentioned,
took
I was playing
camera.
on
I
this.
took screenshots.
Dude, I was playing on this on the Xbox Series X, and there were so many parts of the game looked so colors where the colors popped. It looked so
Mhm.
vibrant.
The environment, I think, is a big aspect of how
Oh
beautiful it
my
looks,
god,
and I
dude!
haven't seen space look this good probably since, Mass Effect.
I
Like,
agree.
yeah,
Yes.
it
Oh,
was
dude.
awesome. I love the ship battle sequences, those were fun.
Yeah.
And the environments, everything just looks so fleshed out. And even the character designs, like sometimes when you were pulled a bit farther back, it wasn't as in detail. But once it got up
Yeah.
close, like Rocket's fur looked so
It
detailed,
looked
Groot's like
amazing.
vines,
Dude, seeing
Star
Drax's
Lord,
skin, the skin details on
yeah,
Drax looked
Gamora, same
amazing.
thing.
Oh,
Star Lord's helmet, like the way that it was used,
yeah.
like awesome. I don't know which skins you used or which ones you used. I used the original Star Lord outfit for a majority of it from the comics, the Sun Lord or
Okay.
something like that. And then Rocket. Once I unlocked the Mafia outfit with the glasses, I was all
I
in
actually
for
didn't
using that.
really use a different costume. I just used the same
Okay,
costume throughout the entire
I
thing.
like
Yeah.
the other ones, but
Yeah.
and yeah, I was about to say a spoiler, but we'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah, not quite,
And
Zach.
and performance is I thought the gameplay worked. I'd never
Yeah.
again 60 frames per second the entire way through, never had any issues, never ran
Really? You
into
didn't go
any
quality mode?
latency. I did do no, I did performance. Yeah,
Oh, I
I'm
went
more
quality
performance than
mode,
quality,
dude.
but quality looks good too. I tried it. I always prefer 60 frames over graphics.
Understandable. Yes,
So
yes, yeah. It really depends. Like sometimes, like I preferred quality mode because sometimes when I play a quality mode in a game, I notice that when you're the input lag in between controller to game is way
it's
off.
less. Okay.
Kena Bridge of Spirits, I played more in like performance mode, which by the way, I really enjoyed Kena Bridge of Spirits a lot. Guardians, when I played in quality, I was like, okay, I can actually do this. Performance mode looked great too. But when I play a game, sometimes I prefer quality mode over performance, even though 60 frames per second looks absolutely amazing. I can only imagine if this was on 120 hertz TV and I had like, let's
Oh
say, like a
God.
high performance mode, it
Yeah.
probably like buttery smooth. But
I wish every game kind of did what Ratchet and Clank did,
yeah,
where it was like, hey, we also have this element to it all, where you can
Mhm.
do both. You're just not running at a 4K. So,
Oh, man.
um,
Dude, I love Ratchet and Clank so much. Rift
yeah.
Apart's
So
incredible.
I do want to talk about like the one con I have with the game, and I think you kind of have it too.
Yeah.
This game is a buggy, glitchy mess at times.
Uh,
Not to the point
uh,
where it's game breaking, in my opinion, but sometimes it's not great.
yeah, I mean, there are some parts where, like, I went into a specific area, like, there's a part and chapter, I think, when you guys are trying to capture the big bad monster out of everybody,
Yeah,
and I thought I saw 2 entry points to go through this crease. I went through one of them, I was stuck, and I had to restart a
yeah.
checkpoint.
And I had
And
to do that a
then
couple
yeah.
times where I would be flown around on my boots, and then all of a sudden I'd land and be stuck in like a wall, and I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Like, even
So
during a huddle up section, I had to restart a checkpoint, and I was like,
yeah, and
"Oh,
there's a
come
couple like
on."
that where I was like, it's a little bit buggy out here, man."
Yeah.
And from my understanding, and I give full credit, apparently after the Avengers, they were already in development on this game. This game was supposed to come out
Really?
last year. Yep, this game was supposed to come out last year, and that's why they didn't announce it, because of all the controversy with the last game. They said push it back and make it single player. It was
I
supposed to
understand that,
be
man.
a full-on multiplayer thing like
Oh,
Avengers,
thank God they
and they
changed it.
changed it. Yep, they changed it. It
Dude.
was still same story and stuff, but it was
Oh,
gonna be mostly, yeah. So they went back and heavily
I
overhauled
see
this
what you mean.
entire
So they
game.
basically allowed other people to play the different characters.
Yeah, but it was gonna be
Okay.
multiplayer, just like Avengers, like
Just see.
exact same concept,
Mhm.
just Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm really glad they went fully single player into this because
Same.
it's like with Avengers was one of the most
I
disappointing
have
games I
fun
played
with
in a
it. I
long
still
time.
play it
Same.
every time they add stuff with it.
It's a fun game at times, do not get me wrong, but just the campaign of the game, I feel like I beat it in 8
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah, the Black
The
Panther stuff's the best thing they've done for that
I
game.
have not put the Black Panther
Oh,
stuff.
dude, it's amazing. And I don't know if you've played the next gen version of the game yet, like the free
No, I
upgrade.
haven't.
Austin, night and day difference. Loads like
Really?
that, dude. No glitches. Like, I am actually very shocked. It doesn't bring me back as much,
Mhm.
but dude, I'm shocked by how great it runs. If you haven't done any of the
Hmm.
add-ons after, all the add-ons are amazing.
I might
Hawkeye's,
have to
Kate
play the game
Bishop's,
again.
and Black Panther, especially Wakanda's. The Wakandan one was amazing. I'm so stunned by how great the Wakandan one
Wow,
was. I was
okay.
very shocked by how great that one was. So
I might have to
trust
give
me when
this
I
game
say
another chance.
I
I
I
might have
I
to.
just put it in for those and just have fun with those. That's all you got to do. The rest
Because
you can
because
do
you know the
whatever with.
strange thing is I had it originally on PS4 before I got the PS5. I sold the game, I traded it in because I was like, "I've had
Mhm.
enough of this game," because I was like, "I have no incentive to play the game any further," but now hearing upon this, because I have an Xbox Series X that's on
Yeah.
Game Pass, I'm actually downloading it from Game
Play the
Pass.
next gen. Play the next gen. It's really good. Again, if you already hate the game, it's not going to change. But if you had some fun with it, there's
I
still
did,
some fun to be
yes.
had with it.
Yeah,
Other
dude,
than the
playing as
Spider-Man
Captain
shit looking.
America, man, I had so much
Yeah,
blessed with playing
the
Captain
Spider-Man
America.
stuff looks like shit though. So just saying. I don't know if you've seen that. That looks
I
like garbage.
haven't,
It
but
looks
but
so bad. It
hearing
looks
the
so bad.
I've heard the Hawkeye stuff is amazing though. Like with Kate Bishop.
Hawkeye's great. The boss is fucking almost at the very end. It was so fucking difficult to beat. I actually had issues beating the final boss, but the Wakandan stuff. I mean, Black Panther's not my favorite character to play as in that game. It was Kate Bishop.
Really?
I loved Kate Bishop's. Yeah, Kate Bishop and Miss Marvel were
Oh,
my favorite characters to play as up until then. But
I'm gonna
yeah,
have to
man,
download the game again.
you
I'm gonna have
should.
to
You
download
should.
it.
And anyone who ever enjoyed the Avengers game, definitely check that out. But yeah, I think you can definitely tell that they were crunched on this game to finish it.
Yes, easily. I mean, with the
And
bugs and everything, I mean,
mhm,
visually, it looked like a spectacle. I mean, the first time you got into that planet, and there's a specific moment where Star Lord goes over this railings, you see this huge container, how the light reflects off it, dude.
yep.
The reflections in the game looked absolutely incredible, and
Insane,
yeah,
insane.
looked so
And I think that's
good.
just my thing, man, is I overall, besides all the bugs, I really the fact that I was having just so much fun with the game and the story wise, it never really went. It always was keeping me on edge and wanting me to keep playing. And I will say there was two updates that went out while I was playing it that did fix a lot of it. And towards the back
Yes,
half of the game, I didn't run into as many bugs.
same. Yeah,
So I will say that's just what my experience was while playing it. Your experience might be completely different because now there
yeah,
might not be as many, and they're only going to keep fixing the game.
yeah.
Again, I know there's the whole controversy or the whole discussion of why should we buy a game that's not finished. Well, you know, if you want to play it, you might as well should if it's playable. I mean, you're
I'll
talking
say
to someone
this
who,
much.
yeah,
The game feels way more complete than Avengers did when that first came out.
yeah. And
Way more
honestly, like
complete.
I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, is this a cyberpunk?" No, and I played cyberpunk. I
Not
put
at
like
all.
50 hours in that fucking game. I liked cyberpunk a lot. It's
I
not
actually
like
never beat.
cyberpunk.
I actually have not beat Cyberpunk. I have not beaten it.
I'll tell you this right now, Austin. I wouldn't be shocked if you're close to the ending. That game's actually really short.
I forgot where I was at. I forgot where I was at because I haven't played the game
Mm,
at all. Because I'm waiting for the next gen versions, even though they've delayed that until like next year. Which I'm just like,
yeah,
just fix
I
the
feel so
game,
bad for
guys.
those creators. It's
Yeah.
not their fault. That's
No,
literally
it was upper management, unfortunately. I mean,
yeah.
I will say much. I do have two other things I was a bit mixed on.
Okay, let's hear it.
So Star Lord, I was mixed on with the voice actor. The voice actor at first, like, I get it again, like these are not the same voice actors from the movies, but there are certain parts I was like, okay, like I'm not so into at the moment. Like Rocket, I loved Rocket. I loved Drax in the game so much.
Yep.
Groot had me cracking up so much.
I
Uh,
am Groot.
Yes. I loved Gamora. Mantis was great, and there was a character that does come in, which we won't get into right now. We'll get into
Yeah,
later, which I know you know who I'm talking about.
yeah.
But Star Lord is like Star Lord. I was it wasn't until like the maybe like that because I like there are parts of Star Lord I loved, and there are parts of Star Lord I was like, okay, just seeing the line delivery of that, but it
If I'm
wasn't
being honest, I
until
think that's a lot of the writing because
yes.
he's played as the normal Star Lord you know
Oh, okay.
until maybe that point in the game where
It
you
was for
finally
me.
because you go back to his past a lot in the game,
Yes, you do.
and that's when the story started opening up. And I'll be honest, there's a whole
Yes.
gap in there of his childhood that I want to see.
Yes, I'm with you on that entirely, dude.
And I mean that's where you could do it a sequel. You know, you just continue and
Yeah.
go back because there's one character in because the thing that this game does really well is it's not comic accurate, but it
No,
kind of is, and it's not movie accurate, but sometimes it kind of is. And what it does is it mixes both of those, but does its own thing.
it does. I will say this. Probably the closest thing it has to the movie is the soundtrack.
It's the soundtrack and one little aspect about Star Lord,
Yes.
and
Oh,
I
yes.
I don't. I mean, I'll say it's the Yondu aspect. That Yondu was a
Yes.
big part of his. Because in the comics,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not that versed on Star Lord to be honest. I read just
Same.
more of the team up stuffs, but I don't really remember that being in there. I know Yondu
Yeah.
was an original member of the Guardians of the Galaxy at one point, but
Mhm.
so there's always that. But in general, man, I think it's time to score the game before we get into spoilers.
I do want to mention the one more mixed
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
I
yeah.
was
Say the
aspect on
last
really
thing.
quick. That was for me, like I love the banter just like you. There are parts during the combat though where I was like, okay, I mean, I don't know how many variations of the lines or how many different lines I said during combat, but there are some times where lines ran to other lines, and the times like the combat first did feel a tad grindy at first, but the more I played it, I was like, okay, I see where this is going.
I
I'm
guess the
loving
game takes a
this.
bit to get into. If I'm being
Yes.
honest, it takes a couple hours to get into. Not in a bad way, but
No,
it
not at
takes its
all.
time. It takes its time, and you're really leveling up. Because when you get into the Guardians of the Galaxy, they really much are just they just became a team. Like maybe
Yes.
just a couple months beforehand or
Yeah.
something of that nature. So man, I love this fucking game still.
It's so
Besides my
good.
little issues, I love this game. I love the story. I love the characters. I think it's maybe a tad bit too long. I'll be honest with that. Even though I didn't want it to end, I felt the length towards the back half,
You
and
know,
I don't know if that's because of
huh,
the combat and wanting more upgrades and not really having anything else to grind for.
right.
Um, but besides that, I fucking love this game.
You know, the strange thing is the game never felt too long on my end. I was
That's good.
actually,
I'm glad.
dude, I kept playing it and playing, even
Mhm.
when I still have to be Deathloop and I still have to be No More Heroes 3 and Little Nightmares 2, to which I need to still beat the first game, which I
Yeah.
know don't kill me. But when I was playing this game, I was like, this is so good. Like, the more I kept playing it, I couldn't
It
put
got
it
better and
down.
better. Well, and I agree
Yeah.
with that. It's just I think there was a point where I actually stopped playing for like 3 days because of work and life
Mm,
and all that stuff.
that's
And I came
understandable.
back and it did feel a little bit more longer to me. And
That
maybe
I
that's why because
understand.
I wasn't able to play it in one sitting. And I came back and I was like, okay, I just want to beat the game at this point. Like I have all
Yeah,
the upgrades, I have all this shit. I just want to beat the fucking game. How
I
much
can
is
see
left?
that.
So, and there's a
Yeah.
couple of corridors and segments that I think you could have slowed down, or it felt like they just had combat to have combat,
Yeah,
where I didn't feel
sometimes.
like you needed that combat. Like you could have just gone to the next moment, because the best moments of the game are the quieter moments.
Yeah.
Seriously, when they're just bantering and talking and you're doing puzzles or things like that. Like I love that about this game, and I love this game. It brought my favorite aspect of what I love about the Guardians in
Mm.
every way. And again, it's my third favorite comic book game of all time. My number one Spider-Man, my number two is Batman Arkham City, and my number three is Guardians of the Galaxy.
I
I
would
don't
say
think
my
anything will
this yeah. I would say
I
this is my
don't
number
think
3 as
anything will beat
well.
this. Okay, sweet. I'm
Yeah.
glad we're in agreement on that.
3 yeah,
So
3 as well, then actually Spider-Man and then Arkham City for me is my
okay,
number 1.
fair enough.
Yeah,
So
but no, I agree with you, man. This for me, I mean, this game looked interesting. Like, I mean, it's the same cause the movie, although I was so excited for the film because knowing James Gunn, I
mhm.
fucking love James Gunn to death. But
Yeah,
when I saw the trailer, I was like, this could be actually really, really cool. And as I started playing, I was like, this is really, really interesting. But the more I kept playing it, I was getting invested into the story. There's a couple parts where I did tear up. The combat took me a bit to get into, but again, it was easing me in. The graphics blew me away so many times. I took a screenshot because I love the look of the game.
same,
I love the soundtrack and the ending. I was like, you know, if they made a sequel, I would buy it day one. Buy it day
same,
one.
same. Make it
Yeah,
$80, I'll buy it.
yeah.
Give me a cool ass statue with all the Guardians
Oh
symbolized
my
around it.
god, yes, I agree. No, I had such a great time with the game. This is definitely for me the biggest surprise for games this year. Biggest surprise of the year.
Yep, I agree. I agree. Biggest surprise, and on a biasness, it's my favorite game of the year. It's not. It wouldn't be like if I
Really?
had to vote for game of the year, I wouldn't play. I would have argued it should have been nominated. If I'm being honest, the best made game still of the year is Metroid Prime or Metroid Dread for me. There is
I
nothing
actually think
beating
it's
that.
Ratchet and Clank and Psychonauts 2 for me are the best.
Or that.
Yeah.
I mean, Ratchet and Clank's my second favorite of the year, like
Ah,
personally. But I love this game. I had so much fun with it, and I can't stop thinking about it, man. I can't stop
it's
thinking about it. I am
it's a
going to
total
replay Ratchet and
blast.
Clank before I do my like top 10 at the end of the year. So
Yeah,
we'll see, because I did love Ratchet and Clank. But yeah, man, what's your
dude.
score for this out of 10? I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I think this game's fucking great.
I'm gonna push also 9 out of 10. Now, I had
Okay.
such a great time. Like you said, the game is just a big, colorful, funny party. There is a moment in this game where I smiled so much. It's in
Well,
chapter.
man,
Oh, well,
let's save
yes,
it. Let's just talk spoilers. So we've given our
yes,
score. This is where
hmm
I want to say it right now. If you have not played Guardians of the Galaxy
yes,
and you want to know nothing, which is the best way to experience this game, and you want to be surprised, especially if you're a comic book fan, go away now. Hit that
yes.
like and subscribe button, comment your guys' thoughts, comment if you're gonna buy it, and go away.
Yeah,
Nothing
get the
wrong.
flark out of here.
Just
Get the
get the
flark out of
flark out
here.
of here. Get the flark out of here. If you have played the game or you just don't care about spoilers, we're gonna spoil the shit out of this game.
hmm
Austin, say what that moment was now.
Oh god, so there were so many moments in this game that I absolutely loved, but the one moment that just oh god, it's making me smile just thinking about it. So it's in chapter 14 where we're trying to find Fing Fang Foom, and they crash onto that ice planet when the Guardians start laughing their asses off, knowing that they were about to die. And it's like Quill's flying is so bad, and they were all laughing so hard. I was like,
Yeah,
this is the Flarkin Guardians of the Galaxy right here, man.
it's so good.
And one of my other favorite moments is when they were trying when the Promise was trying to possess these characters, and they got to Peter Quill, and you got back where he saved his mother or his mother, and
And
you had to shoot his mother. I just went this this game is actually making me emotional
apparently
right
you
now.
can get away with just hugging her and it changes the story. I didn't know
Really?
that. I don't know if that's I was reading something that it changes certain outputs if you just hug her.
Oh, but I want to ask you really quick: did you pay or did you not pay the fine?
I paid the fine.
I didn't pay the fine.
So what happened if you don't pay the fine? I'm just
So
curious.
so the ship is actually disabled, and they're like, "But did you pay the fine?" Nope. Flark, and then actually, I don't know if they said Flark, but and the in the credit sequence where they showed all the pictures and all that stuff, it actually says that he paid the fine, but he owes a significant later fine because of that.
Okay,
That was
so I only paid the
hilarious.
fine because I didn't buy anything on Nowhere, and you really don't buy anything in the game.
Yeah, you don't.
Um,
I didn't actually
and
could buy it. Wait, you could buy things on Nowhere?
yeah, if you walked around, you could buy stuff for I walked around for like 30 minutes. You could buy a ton of shit. I didn't buy
I
anything.
did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't buy anything. You can gamble.
Wow.
But don't gamble because I looked it up and I said, is this even worth it? And every single website said, do not gamble. It's Star-Lord. What do you expect to happen? And I'm like,
Okay.
all right. But yeah, you can buy Gamora a doll. You can go into the collector's warehouse and actually walk around, but you have to pay. So I didn't do any of that because I wanted to pay the fucking fine. So because I paid the fine because you get a fucking achievement. That's the only reason I did it.
I did now. Oh, by the way, when you collected those credits from Lady Health, is it Hellfire or
Hellbender.
Hellbender?
Hellbender.
Thank you. How many credits did you collect in general? I'm
Oh, I don't
curious.
remember. I don't
Mine
remember.
was just over 12,000 actually.
Yeah, mine was 12,000 too.
Okay.
So,
But
yeah, like I love aspects like that. Hellbender was great. You know, we got a little glimpse of her in the trailer, but like I like that she was kind of that antagonist here and there and would come through, and I thought that was fun. But we got to talk about it, man. Adam fucking Warlock. And I did not expect that. When they mentioned him, I said he's in the game now. I just knew from the second they had mentioned him, I was like, he's gonna show up, and that whole moment was great. And then when you go in Drax's brain,
amazing,
and you have to fight Thanos.
When I saw that, I just went, "That's fucking Thanos!"
Yeah, and let's talk about the main thing. Gamora killed Thanos and Nebula.
When I heard, dude, the moment I heard her say, "I killed my sister," I just went, "They actually did it."
Yeah, and that's the thing about this game is that it puts that interesting perspective in the game of these characters are dead.
Yeah.
They're not in the world anymore. I mean, it's comic books, so they can always come back and whatnot, but very surprised on that. But
I
yeah,
gotta
go
say
on, man.
one moment that I texted you this, and you said, "Dude, yes." It's when that hand takes you through all those things. The hand, where all the guardians go onto that hand, and I heard Avengers Assembled. I just went,
yes.
I just went, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" And then all of a sudden, I heard Peter Parker, and I just went. My jaw dropped.
Well,
like
the
5
thing
minutes
about that whole
straight.
entire moment is, first off, when you get in the hand, I said, "Holy shit, this is the most comic booky fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life."
And by the
Holy
way,
fuck.
visually, my jaw dropped visually. I just went, "This looks."
But I love how they're making fun of. They're like, "Who's the Avengers? Like, what the?"
Yeah.
Like hearing them banter, but I love that because
Yeah.
it's so comic-y, and it's not. It makes sense in that moment. When I heard Spider-Man, though, I fucking flipped out. I was like,
"Oh,
that's
dude.
awesome." And I loved how they were able to touch on this and whatnot. And I kind of wonder, because you got to imagine that this is supposed to take place in the same world of the Avengers game. I know they confirmed that it doesn't because of everything. So,
really?
yeah, from what I understand, they confirmed that now it doesn't. And I think before the plan was, but I still love that idea. I love that little segment and that idea.
Man.
But I wouldn't mind if they did a sequel to the Avengers
Yeah.
game, but just fixed it. I mean, that's all you would have to do. Make it like Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, that's like, seriously.
No,
just
man,
do it
I
like that, man.
agree. Dude, the moment I heard Avengers, I was like, "Wait, is this connected to?" But now hearing, I was like, "Yeah, they have to get connected. They really have to." I mean, it makes so much more sense to
It'd
have
be
it.
cool.
Yeah, and
It'd be
have it
cool.
interconnected in some way. But when I heard Spider-Man, like I told a couple of my coworkers on my job, I was like, "You guys are not gonna want this happening in Guardians." Like, what? I was like, first of all, I heard Avengers Assemble, and then I heard Peter Parker, and they're like, then I was like, yeah, the Easter eggs in that section, my jaw dropped.
Same. It's so amazing, and I love those moments. Adam Warlock, Cosmo was fucking great. I loved Cosmo's powers.
Cosmo.
I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, Nikki. Let's talk Nikki,
dude.
man.
Nikki. Okay, did you defend Nikki or did you sell her out?
Oh, I defended her.
As did I. Yes,
I loved that character. But if you don't know, Nikki's actually a member of the Guardians from the original team.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so she's an original member of the Guardians of the Galaxy at one point. So,
okay.
Obviously, she's younger, and obviously changed some of her origin. I'll be honest, I kind of wish it was Star-Lord's daughter.
Yeah, same.
They really much played that up for a majority of the game.
They did, yeah.
And I will be honest, I didn't like that they killed Corell off screen. I don't like that they killed her off screen. Now, I understand that Star-Lord's main love interest in almost every single thing is Gamora.
Yeah.
And I imagine that'll probably happen again.
Maybe
Gamora's very stoic, maybe. But I kind of wish they would have just left Nikki to be his daughter.
Yeah, I mean, like every time, like the
I mean, technically, he
moment.
still is now.
Yes, he actually is. Like if he really he might as well be her father. He might as well be at this point. There is a
Yeah.
specific point in the game into which, right when it's revealed that she's not as star, I just went, oh, I kind of wish she. I really.
Mm-hmm.
I was so emotionally attached. I wanted to save her the moment I saw that she was possessed as the matriarch. I was like, oh my god, I want to save his daughter. And the moment I heard when Carl said she's not your daughter, I just went, well, that sucks.
Yeah, but he did care about Corel a lot, and you could tell
Yes.
that. And he even gave his little Chewbacca toy to her, which I thought was
Oh
such a
my
cool
god,
little Easter
yeah.
egg, man. The Tron poster is well in his room. I mean, there's so
Mhm.
many cool Easter eggs like that we're probably missing a ton, but I love that they do keep the same origin story as Star-Lord's father of who he actually
Mhm.
is, this prince of this other place. I like that they kept
Yes.
that because that is comic lore. Warlock was just fucking great. I kind of wanted him to join our team at one point, but
Same, dude.
and I knew he
Oh.
was gonna be the boss. When you're walking through and it's too happy and all that sorts of things, and it's like, oh nah, we got another boss coming. But Austin, there was one moment where I flipped the fuck out
Which one was that?
because I love this character so much in the comics, and they say we need to make amends to Lady Hellbender. This is what Drax says, and he goes,
Oh god.
and Star Lord's like, Drax, map us a way to Fin Fang Foom, because Drax always keeps talking about Fin Fang Foom. And he goes, yes, my ancestors, we shall stop him. And they go there, and I'm like, oh my god. Now I don't love the design of Fin Fang Foom. I'm more like
Didn't
I like
love
the
it.
skinny version of Fin Fang, but I got used to it, and I thought
Same.
that was my favorite boss battle in the entire game, was fighting a
Dude,
fucking dragon.
the moment that Star-Lord gets his cassette back and he
Oh
jumps in
yeah.
and with Fink in the background, I just
Yep.
went, I almost clapped. I came so close to
I
going like,
screenshotted that.
I tried to take a screenshot from the series. Actually, I took a video clip instead, but I'm gonna screenshot it. But I just went. But as soon as that's when I was like, that was fucking metal right there.
Dude, it was
Oh
Star-Lord, man. That's what it was. And
yes,
that moment was fucking badass. The whole last fighting
yes.
sequence when you're flying towards the thing and having to shoot at everything and like fucking blow it all up
Mm-hmm.
and winning. This game is fucking great. I love these little
It's
moments and I love
so
how
much
comic-y it
fun.
is. And the end credits scene, it sums up that Nikki's joining the
Mm-hmm.
crew and they're going off on their next adventure soon. And the other thing, Nova Corps. I like the
Mm-hmm.
giant Nova head and Nova
That was
Prime and all
awesome.
sorts of things like that. Did you get them to come back?
I did, yes.
Sweet.
I got Cosmo to help.
I got everyone to
I
help, yeah.
I saved Rocket from being thrown every single time. I'd never
Yep.
allowed him to be thrown.
Except the one time he was gonna let you, right?
Yes, at the one time, yes. I trusted Gamora to do things on her
Which,
own.
dude, I messed that up. I actually I restarted that checkpoint because
Oh,
I didn't get what she was saying, so I was trying to go. I wasn't going with her, but I was going up to get the vantage and then
Mhm.
drop down, and it took me up with her, and she got pissed. I'm like, no, 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 I don't
Oh.
want to do that. So I went back, and I love how she comes back with just his arm.
Yes. I just
Because
went,
in a
"Oh, you
sense that
fucked him up."
guy is very much like Thanos to her in the
Yeah.
viewpoint of it, of what he was using. And
Mhm.
it's dude, this is great. So I want to ask you, where
Yeah.
do you want the franchise to go next now? Because we can talk spoilers and all this stuff.
Oh man, there are so many ideas of where it could go.
Like Yondu's still alive, right? He's just in prison. I think that's
Yeah,
kind of what I was understanding. So there's that. You still have Star-Lord's father out there that they kind of
yeah.
hinted it was alive. Do you want the Avengers? Do you want Spider-Man? Do you want
You know
what do
what? Considering that Yondu is still alive, I would not mind a storyline to which the Ravagers come for Peter Quill.
you mhm.
I think that'd be a really cool thing. Or even, hey, even his father, that'd be cool because I didn't read the comics, so I couldn't tell you all the things on Star Lord. But he's his father's still a Celestial, right?
No,
Oh, okay,
his let me read it.
sure. See, this is how much I know about comics lore,
So
guys.
his father's name is Jason. He's the emperor.
Oh,
Jason was the
that's
father of
right.
Star-Lord.
Yes.
Yada yada
Okay.
yada. Prince Spartax. He's technically he was introduced in the Inhumans like way back in the day. So I don't know if he's like technically an
Oh,
Inhuman or anything like that.
okay.
Um I prefer the ego stuff they actually did in
Same. I
the
love the
movies.
ego
I don't really
stuff.
like Jason, but maybe you change it up and say it's a different. But I'm pretty
Yes.
sure they did say it's Jason, from my understanding. So,
Um,
and I don't mind that.
yeah, same. I mean,
I
I would
will
love to
say.
see
So, is
Yondu.
there any other Guardians characters that you want to join the crew, so that you can play
I
it or have them
would
with your team?
honestly, I know he's not going to join, but it might be too OP for them. But I wouldn't mind if Adam Warlock joined at some point.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah,
mind that, dude. The moment I
yeah,
saw it come in, I was like, wait, that's fucking Adam Warlock.
yeah. So awesome. And now I'm more
Mm-hmm.
excited to see Will Poulter in that role. I mean, he's fucking
Oh,
huge now,
dude,
man.
he
He's
is
gonna
going
kill it.
to kill it in that role.
Yeah,
He's
he's
gonna
gonna
kill it.
do so good. The other character for me that I'd like to see is I actually want to see either Nova, like Richard Rider, come in,
Mm-hmm.
or because I know Richard Rider's out there if you read like some of the files and stuff like that. The other character, and I don't know, is Agent Venom. I would actually like to see,
Oh,
because there is a comic iteration of where Venom does join the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I know not everyone loves that, but I kind of want to see them fuck around with Venom in
what?
this
Wait,
world. I think that'd
Venom?
be, yeah, Venom,
Like the Venom?
yeah, Venom joins the Guardians at one point.
That would be fucking sick.
So it's recent. It was only a couple runs, but I think again it would
Oh,
be
okay.
cool because even if you have to fight him, you go to the symbiote planet or some shit like that. Like
I
that
mean,
would be
it
fucking
makes
cool to me.
sense. It makes sense.
So, or maybe Thanos comes back in some way, shape, and form.
Oh
Or
god, dude, that whole fight, man! I thought I had to kill all the clones until I kept on hearing death is the way I always went.
Yeah.
Oh, so I have to die.
Once I heard that,
Okay.
I'm like, just beat the shit out of me, please. Just let's try it out. Just fucking hit me, Thanos.
Dude, I think I kept killing Thanos like for 5 more minutes. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Then as soon as and then I heard again, death is the way that I just went. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and kill me.
Yeah, man, it's such a fucking great game. I love
Yeah.
it. It's so much fun, and I can't
Yes.
emphasize enough. If you're listening, and you still haven't played the game, get the game. What it's
so
totally
much
worth your
fun.
money.
Mhm.
I mean, 60, 30, 40, 50, it doesn't matter. The game is seriously worth your money. You'll get
It's such
enough
a
time
great
out of it
game.
to play it, and I'm surprised by how good it is. So, Austin, got any
Yeah.
last thoughts before we get out of here?
Not so much, man. Yeah, this is a game that, like I mentioned earlier, man, I was interested in the game, but I was like, okay, this could be either really, really good, but knowing it's also for the same developer that made the Avengers game, I'm a bit skeptical because I didn't love Avengers. I was a bit disappointed, but the more I kept playing it, the more I fell in love with it, and by the end, I just went, that was a fucking great game, and I want to see
That
more
was a
from this universe.
Flarkin great game.
Thank you. That was a flarking good game. Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Flark you.
Oh
Like,
my god.
when they would argue and stuff, it would feel real, and I loved it.
Yeah,
You really
it
felt a part
did.
of the crew and the Milano, and you really much felt like Star-Lord. Like you felt
Yes.
like Star-Lord. You felt like a Guardians of the Galaxy member, and I love this game. I can't emphasize it enough, guys. You heard my score; it's a 9. You gave it a 9 as well.
9. Yep.
Austin, let them know where they can find you. Maybe what you got coming up.
So you can find me on Twitter, Instagram at Austin P. Putnam very soon. Actually, I'm pretty sure before this goes up, I'll have my review of Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City up, which don't see that, guys. Also, I'll have finally my review of Returnal coming. God, that game took so long to play. And I love Returnal, by the way.
You
That game
officially
I
beat it.
love.
You officially beat it.
Dude, that final level is a pain in the ass. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But I love the game nonetheless. Like, there's 2 different endings. I got, unfortunately, the worst ending, but I do want to play it again. But though the game took me like 80 to 90 hours to beat, somewhere around there. But the game is so much fun. Otherwise, that's all I really have coming up soon.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. And you guys can find me also at Zach Pope Reviews. I love talking movies over there. Games is where I talk. I talk games over here all the time. I know we're doing like some Halo stuff coming up. We're also having probably like top 10 list stuff like that, which I think Austin, I think you're gonna join us for that. I know Christian and Leo most likely will. And we're kind of just getting back into the groove next year, really pushing it harder once a lot more games start coming out. But in general, guys, this is the Critics Play Games. We love playing games. I'm sure you do as well. So Flark, Flark you. Have a great day, guys. And of course, in general, keep playing Flarkin games.
Flarkin, do it.